I don't know what anosmia is.
Anosmia. No,
No?
I don't even have a guess.
Anosmia? I think my mom made it last night.
Smell is the most direct and basic of the senses. Yet because smell does not inhibit everyday activity, the sense is often taken for granted. Today, 2 million to 5 million people live with some form of anosmia.
Anosmia, the inability to smell.
My mom had like all these spices in like little film canisters so we couldn't tell what they said. And she was like having everyone smell them and guess what it was. But then I couldn't guess what any of them were. And so she just started taking all these other spices out of the cabinets and I didn't know what any of them were. So we realized Erin can't smell.
Anosmia means no sense of smell. The most common reason that somebody would become anosmic is they get a cold, their nasal passages swell, and the molecules can't make it up to the part of the nose where the sensory epithelium is, or the tissue that actually does the smelling is.
Well, I think I've completely lost it 10 years ago. I began losing it because I was a chemistry major in college back in the early 70s. Our labs weren't terribly well ventilated, and in my exuberance and enthusiasm to get things done, I often avoided using vent hoods.
We think that it might have been caused because when I was about 3, my mom was taking us for a walk, and my sister and I, and she didn't strap me into the stroller, she just had my sister like hold me, and then the wheels on the stroller were so interesting that I leaned over to look at them and I fell out and hit my head.
One of the ways that people do lose their sense of smell is with a bad anterior-posterior brain injury. That means you hit the front of your head or the back of your head, and then your brain moves inside your skull and those little nerves get torn.
People find out that I have anosmia, they always do the exact same thing. It's first they're like, wait, you can't smell? So do you mean you can't taste?
Usually disbelief. I don't think it's easily comprehended. Well, you can still taste, you'd be questioned.
And then I say, no, I can taste.
Yes, I can still taste. I taste salt, and I taste bitter, and I can taste sour and sweet.
Smell is extremely important in taste. Your tongue only does a number of basic tastes.
So it's like I'm just getting a lower quality of taste than you guys. It's really about texture mostly. Yeah, bananas are kind of gross texture.
I see patients all the time with anosmia, and it can be very disruptive to their lives.
It's pretty frustrating. It's like, I guess it would be like if you were blind and you couldn't know if someone was there in the room. You know, you'd want to look around, but you can't.
Everything smells like air.
Like, what if you're like baking a cake for someone as a surprise, and then you go see them? Will the smell linger on me? I don't know, things like that.
So a rose smells like air. Onions smell like air. I suspect I would not notice a skunk at all.
It is important because, you know, what about a gas leak? What if I'm alone and I die because I leave the oven on? It's just kind of scary to think about.
One thing that is important is for people who have a loss of sense of smell is they have to have smoke alarms in their house. I mean, everybody should have smoke alarms, but it's even more important if you have loss of sense of smell because you can't smell the smoke, so you need to change it to another sense you're hearing.
It has its advantages. Good wine tastes like cheap wine, and cheap wine tastes like good wine.
I think I would want to have a sense of smell, but that would be so scary.
If I could have my sense of smell back. Sure, absolutely. Why not?
If you have anosmia due to a head injury and have torn those nerves, or you're born without those nerves, the chances of you getting your sense of smell back is very, very small. However, it would still probably be worth taking the trouble to get a CT scan or an MRI and see what's going on.
Tell me if you know any way, if you have like a cure. I'm up for it.
You lose your sense of smell.
I lost my sense of smell when I was about 14 because I had a medical procedure to remove the blood vessels from my nose. Because before that, I used to get gushing nosebleeds on a regular basis, several times a week. And finally, they removed the blood vessels from my nose, and that left me with no sense of smell.
Do you remember any sense of smells from when you were little?
I think I remember the smell of chocolate, and I do think I remember the smell of an orange, and I definitely remember the smell of outhouses.
If you could get your sense of smell back, would you?
I've thought about that, and I'm not too sure. On one hand, I would feel like I'm bombarded with all of the awful smells that I hear about, so I don't think I would like that. But on the other hand, it would be really nice to be able to taste flavors and smell all the wonderful things that people talk about.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.